One thing I'm going to do before I paint it as well is I want to get this out. So this is the factory mount where the seats go. As you can see, the thread's still there. This is the rear one, which I made up to mount these on the rails that these came with. Obviously, I had no plans of registering it back then, so I just did that. These are going to have to come out. These are just welded in, so I'm going to cut these out. Once I've got them cut out, I'm going to hopefully the threads are still there fine. The threads are actually on the top, probably about there, for the original seat bolts. Now what I'm going to try and do is I've still got my original seats here, and that is to cut the rails off, or bolt, unbolt whatever the rails off those, and put it onto these. Obviously it was easier back when I did it originally to not do that. I'm going to try and do it again. For worst case, for getting it registered now, I'm just going to put the factory seats out of the white car in here, get it registered, and worry about that later. But right now I'm just going to get these cut out, because again, don't really want to be in and out angle grinding and shit once I've painted it. Seats out, carpet out. Yeah, there's factory mounts, back grinded, just smoothness. Yeah, still got a vacuum. I just made a fuckload of mess in here, but as you can see, they're back smooth on top and everything, and usable, and that's all that matters. So I decided, what I did is I just vacuumed this all out, all the shit out of there, like metal shavings and sand and whatever crap was under that carpet. I had a bit of this car builder's stuff left. This is the foam. It's a nice padded foam. Weighs nothing, so literally that's how much I had left, enough to do 2 footwells. So I thought I'd put that in here, because hey, I'm going to drive this daily, and there's no reason I can't comfortably sit it, because I normally drive, well, at least on the weekends, barefoot, and just, you know, having your foot resting just on, obviously on carpet, but underneath that's, you know, nice and padded, whatever, to feel cool. So I just put that in there, and it looks nice in the front. And in the back half here, I just painted it black. It's just wet, and I just finished, so probably why it looks a bit cloudy in here too, because it's not the most well ventilated area. Yeah, it's just level again. Alright, so this morning I've just masked up that then. I've just went over all of the guards and anywhere I filled, just went over it then with the 400, and now I'm going to spray a filler primer over them just so I can see what they look like, the goods and the bads. So these side parts are looking real good, nice and smooth, as you can see. I haven't sanded this primer, I just sprayed it, then it's still wet. Same with that one. They're looking really good. The guards on the other hand, you can probably see some of that's just wet paint, but there's little ditches in them here and there, plus the odd hole where there's a pit like that. After some touch-ups, as you can see where the green bits is, that's where I've applied a new layer or more body filler. Yeah, you really notice when you put some grey on it where you've got imperfections, but that's really starting to feel pretty damn good. A little bit just there, which I haven't sanded yet, I just did that, so I'm just letting it set. And a few little spots here and there, there was just like a tiny dent, a little bit on that guard there, but this is a real thin layer, and there's a little dent in that door. A little bit more prep now in the work, so I sanded all behind here. Couldn't get to that obviously when the boot was on the car, so I've sanded all that, and I've sanded all around the window, and I've also filled, as you can see where the bits of filler are, where the rivets were. Now, there's a bit of rust in a few spots here just starting, and it's probably one of the worst spots on the car for rust is this boot area. It always rusts out just here in the corners. So what I'm going to do, that corner's actually been repaired before. As you can see the welds there, this whole corner's been replaced, and that's filler just there. This one's the original one still. But what I'm going to do is just use the primer that I've got, that's the rust one, and just paint over that right now, just that whole outline, just so it's got an extra coating of primer that is the rust proof one. So now that that's done, obviously still a bit more sanding and prep to do on the rest of the doors and stuff. I just wanted to get that out of the way because there's really nowhere else I'm going to spray any of that rust primer. Still a few spots where I'm going to use some filler primer and stuff, but I'm really finished when it comes to the rust primer. But I just wanted to do that, so that's out of the way. Alright, so I'm just doing some finishing sanding on the bonnet. So bringing it right down now, all smooth over, except in this edge I took it back a bit further because the edge has, I'm guessing it's surface rust on there, but I think that might be a join where they pressed it when they originally made it, but I've got it obviously back smooth now. Got the bonnet painted here with a filler primer for the whole thing. As you can see, it's come out pretty good. I haven't sanded it yet at all, so this is just how the paint came out. And now I've went over, and as you can see where all the brown bits are, pretty much they were all chips in the paint. And so now I've sanded those spots back down, and the chips are filled with the filler primer. And now I'll just go over it again with a really light coat of the filler primer, and just smooth it all out as one coat. Otherwise the bonnet is pretty much finished. I maybe might even not do the filler primer, I might just primer it. So the bonnet's ready for paint. The boot's ready for paint, so all I really had to do here was fill the holes from where the badge was there, because I'm only going to be having the one Corona badge, not going to bother with the Toyota one. And then as far as here goes, on the roof, there was 2 dents. One I'd already filled, and one I actually just refound, a small one that was there. So now I've got the dents filled. I will fill a primer just a little bit over that one there, that spot. But I've got all the dents out of the roof. Right, we are feeling very close to hitting this with some paint. So I just taped up some holes, and I'll tape up the lights soon. Obviously tape up the windows properly. I'm just doing some final bits that I noticed I hadn't done before, which is just around where these lights are on the inside bit. You won't actually see it once the lights are in, but as you can see, it's got some surface rust. So I've just got the Dremel out with the little bit there, and I'll be able to go along there and just take off that little edge of rust without hitting on the panel side. So just cleaned that guy out. So wax and greased in there, and I pushed the rubber actually back behind so that I can paint in there.
Ooh. Huh? Looks sticky.
Oh yeah. So just when you think you're all done finding rust spots, you find more. So I just found down in that bottom behind the tyre, there was a rust hole, so I have filled it now. So I used some fiberglass filler on the inside of the hole, and now I've used the Rage Gold on the outside, underneath and all that. And I also did, again, when you're looking down at the car, you don't really notice, but underneath this bit had all chips all over it. From drifting, obviously, rocks flicking up. So both sides have just done a real thin layer of the Rage Gold, which I'm just going to sand straight down. And then same with that side there, the front of that had a little bit of rust in it, so I grinded that out and filled it up a little. Alright, so before I paint it, I gotta get all the dust off it. There's a lot of dust on it. So I backed it outside here, and we're gonna blow all the dust off it. And then obviously I'll wipe it down later, but I'll at least get the majority of it. So I got the car all blown off, as well as the bonnet and the boot. I haven't wiped it all down yet, but I've blown all the dust off it. And I'm just masking up the garage now. So, as you can see, I've got the floor. There's 1, 2, 3 drop sheets on the floor, one on that back, just to cover up that stuff. And then I'm just going to do one more kind of over there, over the seats and the bike and stuff. I don't really care about, I'm not going to be spraying down in that corner really. And same with here, I'll just kind of go over the wheels and up against the wall. So yeah, how cool is that?